Something that I see a lot of when it comes to people talking about video games is people saying stuff like, I think this game is overrated. But what does that even mean? Well, usually when they say it, it means here's this game that people really like, and I don't agree. But if other people have really enjoyed a game that I don't think is any good, does it really matter what I think of the game? I mean, their enjoyment is what it is. No matter what I say, they played the game and they enjoyed it. So what a person is really saying when they say that a game is overrated is that they personally think the game is overrated. But I'm sorry, that doesn't change the fact that the game is still liked by all these people. It's like if you were to see somebody say, I think Super Mario Bros. 3 is a bad game, it's overrated. And it's like, okay, well, good for you. There's still millions and millions of people who love the game. Now this is where you might be thinking, whoa, 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 whoa. Am I not allowed to have my opinion of a game? And of course you are. My point is just that somebody can't act like their opinion of a game applies to everybody. So then you might be thinking, well, isn't it okay to just say, I think a game is overrated? Absolutely, but is that what people do? No, they don't. They say it like a declarative statement, not like it's their own opinion. It's this is a fact, this game is bad, everybody's got it wrong, we've all been living a lie, everybody feels the way I do about this game, they just don't know it. Of course, I should point out that it's understandable that not every single person is going to be self-conscious enough to say, I think, I believe, blah, 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 when they're putting their opinion on the internet, and the idea is generally people want to be as loud as possible to have their opinion heard since, you know, everybody can have their opinion on there and they want to try to stand out. Also, what if a whole bunch of people say that a game is overrated? Then that starts to be a little more credible than just a single person saying it, because clearly there's something about the game that rubs a lot of people the wrong way. And that doesn't necessarily mean that the games are then bad at that point. I mean, after all, there were all those people who liked the game to begin with. Because here's the thing about calling a game overrated. What needs to happen in the first place in order to call it overrated? It needs to be rated highly in the first place. And how does a game get rated highly? It has a whole bunch of people who really like it. I mean, you don't have any people saying Jose Canseco's Baseball Fever is overrated because it was never rated highly to begin with. And so it's almost like a compliment in a way when somebody says a game is overrated, because by saying that, they're acknowledging the fact that the game was rated highly to begin with. Here's the thing, any popular game is going to inevitably have a target on its back, because there is no highly rated game you can think of that won't have at least some people who don't like it and therefore say that it's overrated. So then the point you get to is it's basically just a numbers game of how many people think a game should be highly rated and how many people consider it overrated. And I mean, how are we ever supposed to know that for sure? I mean, you can be like, well, me and a couple of my friends think it's overrated. Okay. How are you supposed to know what everybody thinks of a game? And moreover, once enough people say that a game is overrated, then it kind of brings the overall rating down a little bit. And so then it's kind of not overrated because all these people are saying it's overrated. And so it's actually rated a little lower than what everybody said. You see what I'm saying? Quick little story for you. I remember back in 1997 when Final Fantasy VII came out, and it was a really big deal. People were crazy for that game. People loved it, all that good stuff. And then what started to kind of happen in the years following it, where a lot of people would say, nah, this game is actually overrated. And it got to the point where enough people were saying it that I would then say the game actually became rated overall a little bit lower than what it initially was, during those initial years when it was first out and everybody loved it. Another game that we should probably talk about is Fortnite. Oh boy, is there a lot to say about that game. For Fortnite, I would almost just call it a polarizing game because on one hand, it is mega popular. There are so many people who play that game. But on the other hand, there are a ton of people who hate the game. And maybe it's not even that they hate the game, but they just hate the fact that the game is so popular. A game of that scale also starts to become this almost like a cultural generational difference, because there's a lot of younger gamers who are the ones playing that, and a lot of the older gamers tend to be the ones who really hate it or don't like it, all that kind of stuff. But anyways, when it comes to overrated games in this discussion, I think the main thing to take away from this is, like with all things, just form your own opinion, play what you like, don't worry what other people are thinking, and more importantly, if somebody enjoys something, don't try to take that away from them, don't try to say their opinion is invalid or whatever, just let them enjoy. And my big thing always is, if people are playing video games, then I'm happy, especially if it's, retro games in particular. If you're playing retro games, then that makes me really happy. I guess I would rather people be playing Fortnite than no video games at all. But yeah, retro games are what makes me happiest. And lucky for me, all of you watching love retro games, and that's why I always love hearing your different opinions in the comments. Even if not all of us agree which retro games we like more than others, I always love to talk about those differences, why we feel a certain way about this game and that game, because what it comes down to is all of that is just passion for retro games, and that's what's most important to me. For example, a discussion got going in the comment section of one of my last videos about which Mega Man game on the NES is the best, and it was great. Everyone was being nice, nobody was calling anybody an idiot for thinking this and that, and everybody just explained their opinion of why they liked this game or that game more than the other ones. Alright, and so for this video's question, I thought this would be fun. Instead of just saying a game that you think is overrated, I thought it would be fun to talk about a game that you like where you've encountered other people trying to tell you that it's overrated, and just what that experience was like, because I know that can be kind of funny. Maybe it was actually frustrating and annoying for you, but those stories can be fun, so I'd still be curious to hear what you have to say. Also, if you haven't watched my last video, I'm offering some cool new stuff on my Patreon, including some stuff you can do for free, like vote on my Friday video topics. So be sure to check that out if you haven't already, and be sure to leave your comments down below, and I will see ya in the next video.